I'm Jay Crawford. Mike, you ready for the weekend?
Heck yeah. I'm in a good mood here at Chateau Polk, getting ready to kick it off. Had a nice time watching basketball for the first time in a long time last night. Did you watch?
I did not. I'm in Minnesota, but 6 teams will not, as that number seems to grow by the day. Jim Donovan joins us now. Tell us what's new. Jimmy, this all started with the Florida Marlins, and it has spread throughout Major League Baseball, almost exactly how this virus has spread through society. It's going quickly.
Yeah, it really is, Jay, and a good afternoon to you. And all of a sudden, it definitely seems as though the virus is chasing baseball, and it's a real problem. Here's what has happened today. 2 positive tests from the St. Louis Cardinals. Players have tested positive from the Cardinals, and so their game, which was scheduled for this afternoon against the Milwaukee Brewers, was postponed. Now, how do the Indians figure into this? Well, the last time that the Cardinals played was in Target Field in Minneapolis against the Minnesota Twins, and they resided inside the visiting clubhouse, where the Indians are residing this weekend in that series against Minnesota. So there have been discussions all day long going on between Major League Baseball, the Indians organization, and the Minnesota Twins organization about what do you do about tonight's game. And within the last 15 minutes, it has been announced that tonight's game is on. They are going to play. This is a little bit surprising because when the Marlins situation hit early into this 60-game regular season, then everything that was connected to the Marlins, the Philadelphia Phillies, the Yankees going into Philadelphia after the Marlins had played there, everything was shut down. But the Indians are going to play against the Minnesota Twins tonight at Target Field in game number 2. But this just went right up to the deadline. Both teams have postponed media availability with the managers of each team in the pregame walk-up to the game. The other important point here, Jay, is that the Indians are being tested today for COVID-19, not because of the Cardinals situation or the possibility that they were infected last night in that clubhouse. This was a regularly scheduled day for the Indians to be tested for COVID-19. Reaction around baseball is coming in because this is surprising that the Indians are going to play this game tonight. From the St. Louis Cardinals organization, they say this is a loud wake-up call. In other words, it seems as though they're saying this isn't working. This is a real problem, and there's no way that we can contain this thing we call COVID-19. And the Milwaukee Brewers organization saying, guess what? The NFL is watching us because they know they've got next. And that's true. The NFL is watching as they get set to start. Baseball tonight from Minneapolis. Very curious, Jay.
Yeah, and Jimmy, quickly before we go, I'm dying to get your thought on this because to me, as an observer and as a fan, it feels like finishing this season is an extreme long shot. We're a week in, 6 of the 30 teams have missed games because of this thing, and that number likely only to get bigger. Here the Indians are. They're 5-2. They're in first place. They got 3 or 4 guys that look like Cy Young, but I don't know we're going to get to see it through. What's your thought on that?
I totally agree with you, and there's been another development today, Jay, that kind of waters down the product in a lot of people's minds. Because we have so many games being postponed now, not because of weather, but because of coronavirus, they're really getting backed up. So starting tomorrow in Major League Baseball, if you're playing a doubleheader, you're going to play 2 7-inning games, not 9-inning games. 7-inning games. It's going to be like Travel League, Jay.
Feels like Little League all over again. Hey, whatever you got to do to get the games in. Jimmy, thank you very much. We'll see you at 6 o'clock in sports. All right, onto your feet at 5 now. And with all of the uncertainty swirling around, not just pro sports, but college sports and high school sports as well, we want you to weigh in. If it were up to you, would you postpone all sports until we have a proven vaccine, whenever that is? That's our What's New question of the day. You want to weigh in, go to our app or go to our website, wkyc.com/vote now. We're going to get some of your thoughts later in the show. We now have gotten word, though, that Garfield Heights High School, that district, is suspending, not canceling, suspending all extracurricular activities for now. But today, the Ohio High School Athletic Association announced that all practices for fall sports, including football, will be allowed to start tomorrow. Now, it sounds like that's good news, but there comes a catch with all of this. This story's anything but easy, so try to follow this. The catch is with the so-called high-contact sports, such as football, soccer, and field hockey. The OHSAA is saying they'll only start on time if the governor's office and the Ohio Department of Health remove that stipulation that all players go through weekly coronavirus tests. Many schools have already said they don't have the means to do that. But the governor has been adamant that needs to take place. So now we wait yet again as the attention shifts back to the governor's office to make a final call here. This really is about someone needing to step up and make a final call. Everyone's been reluctant to do that. The OHSAA has basically just punted the ball back to the governor, and the kids and the teams are left not knowing whether they'll actually get to play. Official practices start tomorrow. Some of the seasons are just 3 weeks away, and we are no closer to an official answer or outcome. We talked with North Royalton football player Vince Kaprowski about what it's like to be in limbo.
It's kind of like hard because like you're not as motivated because like you don't know what's gonna happen. I think to myself, am I wasting my time putting all these hours into football and not even having a season? Like, what am I gonna get out of it? And I love the sport so much.
Boy, you can't help, Mike Polk, but feel for not just that young man, but all of these high school kids, particularly the seniors. This would be their last shot to go out there and play a high school football game. But you can see by our voting, 2/3 of everyone weighing in say that, cancel everything, but put sports on the back burner till this thing has a vaccine. What's your thoughts?
I really do think that you summed it up really well earlier when you said that nobody wants to make the call on this, and that's the hard thing. And so it looks like the governor set a really high standard that, it's really impossible to really apply at that level in any way. And you got to think he knew that going in. So then he's like, here, now you have the ball, and now go ahead, good luck with that. And now they say, no, we got to hear that from you officially. And now he's going to have to make that call. And the ball's passed back to him, and now we're going to see what he does with it.
Well, you know the saying, the buck stops here. And when you're the governor, everyone is looking to you for leadership. And that includes high schools and local and county health boards. Everybody is waiting for someone to take the lead on this. I will throw this out there, and this is just a number. You can make of it what you will. I know there's a lot of concern about coronavirus. Mike, since this pandemic began way back in February, statewide, Ohio has had just 2 deaths under 20 years old. Just 2. So it looks like it's an illness for people in that age group, not the death sentence that it can be for those that are over 70 and 80. Go ahead.
At the same time, you have to remember that those 20-year-olds are around people who are older than those 20-year-olds.
That's exactly
they
right.
live with so those kids live with their parents, and those parents are not 20 years old. And this is a very contagious thing. So it's a really impossible situation, and I don't envy the people who have to be making these decisions. But math's math, and it's just a rough place.
All right, we'll follow this story wherever it takes us. All right, that leads us to our daily coronavirus numbers. The state reporting 1,533 new cases today. That's down from 200 yesterday. Looking at other key metrics, our positivity rate clicked down 0.2 of a percentage point. Hospitalizations, again, trending downward. They're down 25 patients from yesterday. But look at the deaths there. It is ticked up to 47 deaths reported today. That is up 27 from the 20 that were reported yesterday. A quick reminder, though, on that number in particular, that is not a real-time number. That is not what it appears to be. The state telling me some death numbers can lag behind by as much as 6 weeks. So as they get them, they report them, but they are not all from the last 24 hours. Okay, one of the things the governor is doing to help curb the numbers is limiting alcohol sales. And today, the Ohio Liquor Commission took Governor DeWine's advice. They have banned all alcohol sales after 10 p.m. Mark Namick has been following this story and the new rule and reaction to it. He joins us now from downtown to talk about it. So, what does this new order say exactly, Mark?
Yeah, hi, Jay. It's not complicated. No more liquor sales after 10 p.m. You'll have an hour to finish that last drink, and then you got to get out. Now, as a former bartender, I can tell you that this won't sit well with a lot of restaurants. They feel it's really going to hurt their sales. They make a lot of money in those late hours. I talked to a number of bar owners today, including Chris Mary, who runs the Lincoln Park Pub in Tremont. And she feels she's being punished for following the rules and doing things right. She doesn't see much difference between 10 p.m. and, 10:01 p.m. And she's hoping that they'll just focus on those not complying. Here's what she had to say.
I think that's our biggest problem with this order is it feels like we've skipped over compliance and enforcement and just gone to the next step. And that's what's hurting the people who have made the financial investment, who have laid awake at night, trying to figure out how do we keep our customers and our employees safe.
Now, you should expect to see some lawsuits follow this latest order. In Columbus recently, some bars and restaurants sued that city to stop their recent orders, which put a cap on ours. So we're going to see a lot more to this story, Jay, as well as all those other stories we're talking about today.
Yeah, they're all so fluid. Mark Namath bringing us up to date with the latest order from the governor. Mark, thank you very much. It is 11 minutes past the 5 o'clock hour. Time to get a quick check of other headlines making news this Friday. And for that, we say hello to Russ Mitchell. Russ, happy Friday to you.
You're over there. Happy Friday to you, Jay. And good afternoon, everyone. Dr. Anthony Fauci says he is cautiously optimistic a coronavirus vaccine could prove effective by late fall or early winter. Dr. Fauci made those remarks during a hearing during the House Select Committee on the coronavirus crisis. He also stood by previous statements about wearing a mask and staying away from large gatherings.
Any crowd in which you have people close together without masks is a risk, and I'll stick by that statement.
Dr. Fauci also touted two treatments from Remdesivir and dexamethasone that have been used to improve chances of surviving the virus. 3 News has learned that President Trump is planning a trip to Cleveland next Thursday for a campaign fundraiser. The Secret Service, which scouts locations for presidential events and other Trump representatives, were at the Shorby Club in Bracknell this week. Now, we do not have confirmation that the events will be held there. And it appears today's deadline to renew that $600 a week unemployment payment, that extension, will come and go. Today is the last day for the program. Lawmakers still debating a new coronavirus relief bill. The Senate has adjourned until Tuesday. The House has vowed not to begin its summer recess until a deal is made. Fingers crossed on all that, right?
Very important to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Russ, thank you very much. We'll see you in
later.
just a little bit. Next at 5, before you make your next Amazon purchase, we're sharing helpful info on how to spot fake reviews. They are out there, and we're going to tell you how to find them.
And Matt, from what I understand, he's been science all day long to find out what the weather's going to be like. Is that right, Matt?
Hi, Mike. Much quieter on the radar here this afternoon. We all know we're in a drought. We could use the rainfall, and boy, do we have some rainfall on the way this weekend. We'll time your weekend out completely, hour by hour, coming up.
Well, we have some advice tonight if you are one of the many of us who have found themselves doing a lot more online shopping as of late. I bought myself a pretty nice waffle iron, actually. It's working out pretty well. Those reviews, though, that you read on there, those are pretty important. You got to watch those because you got to make sure they're legit. And Will Ewick will tell you how you can learn whether or not those things are for real.
Reviews are incredibly important for sales to grow on Amazon.
It's one of the main reasons online shoppers choose one item over another. It can also be that final push to click Add to Cart.
Amazon works on a flywheel where products do organically better if you have better traffic to the page, better conversions, and a lot of times those conversions happen because you have high reviews.
Reviews carry a lot of weight. A study from Pattern Consulting showed a rating increase of just 1 star can lead to a 26% sales boost for products online. And that kind of power has led to some companies trying to illegally inflate ratings.
There's a lot of those, third-party sellers that may be padding their reviews. It does happen quite frequently.
Amazon banned incentivized reviews in 2016 and routinely hunts for fake ones, suing companies who try it. But according to some research companies, they're still out there, like ReviewMeta.com, that says nearly half of all reviews in the headphones category are untrustworthy. They deemed 37% of all cell phone accessory reviews fake. And even pest control reviews have red flags. So how does it work?
A lot of companies, what they'll do is they'll put a product insert in the package to say, leave us a review and we'll send you a refund.
We gained access to 2 private Amazon reviewer groups on Facebook where hundreds of products were listed with companies willing to refund the purchase price for a 5-star review, and in some cases offer a commission on top of it. So how can you tell legit from fake?
In a lot of the fake reviews, you'll see, great, I love this product, nondescript 5-star review, and that you can usually tell, it's a fake review.
Carrie says actual reviews will typically go into more detail. Also, she says be leery of products with a lot of 1 stars and 5 stars and no middle ground. Look at the time frame the reviews are left. Make sure all the high ratings were not left in one chunk of time. You can also click on reviewer profiles to make sure they're not giving every product the same rating. And lastly, keep an eye on spelling and grammar.
If you're reading through reviews, look for spelling. There's a lot of people that will write reviews where you can tell it came from maybe a different country or something. And if there's a high quantity of those, likely, that company was paying for some of those reviews.
It may seem like a lot of work, but a little diligence during review reading can go a long way.
You can dig yourself into a hole looking at reviews, but in general, make sure you're looking at, star ranking as a whole.
Will Ewick.
And quality of the reviews that are actually being written.
3 News.
That is always a tip-off when you see the weird grammar in one of those reviews where it'll say, like, is best good product. You should buy all the time, USA. Don't buy it if that's what the reviewer said. It's fake. Amazon issued a statement to us. They said, we use powerful machine learning tools and skilled investigators to analyze over 10 million review submissions weekly, aiming to stop abusive reviews before they are ever published.
That's a Herculean task. That's a big ask, though, Mike.
Yeah, can you imagine? It is. Yeah.
10 million reviews. Yeah, and I'm with you. A lot of times when you buy a product and the instructions on how to put it together, you're looking at them and you are absolutely certain they were not written by someone that speaks English. And they can be confusing.
100%. That's always a sign. But hey, man, it's still like $6.95 for like 7 shelves and a small TV. It's cheap. That's why we do it.
Definitely do.
Oh, and I'm gone.
All right, it is time for weather. So for that, we go to Matt's house. That's always a fun time. Matt, your weather word today, and we'll keep with the theme here, is fake. Be careful how you use that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I will not describe my forecast that way, but we'll see what happens this weekend. Who knows? It could be for all intents and purposes. All right. Well, guys, we've got some rain heading our way this weekend. If you joined us earlier in the week, we were talking about the track of that low pressure that's going to be moving through being so important. And it does look like it's going to head right up the gut of the Ohio Valley. So that will bring us some much needed rainfall. Unfortunately, the timing of it isn't really that great. So let's start with the big picture. This is what your weekend weather looks like. Saturday, we'll see increasing clouds, rain and rumbles developing all across northern Ohio as we go throughout the afternoon and evening. And then Sunday we'll have lingering rain and some rumbles of thunder as well, with temperatures pretty comfortable this weekend. We'll be in the upper 70s. But tonight, boy, this is the night to know it. We've got temperatures that are in the 80s right now, a refreshing breeze blowing in out of the north. That's bringing in that drier air. I haven't moved my little text from yesterday. You can see that drier air has really eroded all that rain down towards the south. But off towards the south and the west, that's where we've got a swirling area of low pressure, heavy rainfall, even some flooding across portions of Missouri. That is heading our way. Getting outside tonight, though, is no problem. Please do it. Take advantage, because we are going to have lots of clouds and showers across the area overnight tonight. National Design Mart hour-by-hour forecasts. We start your Saturday with generally some sunshine, but we'll see increasing clouds as we go throughout the morning. Watch what happens as we get to midday towards early afternoon hours. We develop some of the rain showers across the area. I think it'll have to overcome some dry air, but as we get into the evening, we should have plenty of moisture in place, so scattered rain and rumbles likely. That will continue on into Saturday night, and then Sunday. This isn't going to be a washout this weekend, but we're going to have these on and off showers and thunderstorms around the area, and those will continue in this Sunday. So in terms of your rainfall, again, this is not a fake map, I promise. This is the latest model run, and you can see anywhere from 1 to 2 inches across portions of the area, others of us saying perhaps a ½ inch to an inch. Finally, the latest on Hurricane, I have remembered how to spell this. It's Isaias is how it is. You can see it's now a Category 1 hurricane. Expected impact areas near Miami, Fort Lauderdale, up towards Jacksonville, and eventually that gets into the northeastern United States on Tuesday. Isaias. That's what it is. And the muggy meter, after that system heads by, we bring in refreshing air Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And it'll be very comfortable, almost fall-like around here. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast looks like this, around 80 over the next couple days. And then there's the refreshing air Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. A pretty nice week shaping up after some much-needed rainfall. We'll be back with Clicking in Cleveland on the other side of the break.
It's now time to see what's clicking in Cleveland. For that, we bring in our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney. Stephanie, hello.
Hello, Mike. Happy Friday to you. Lots of important conversations happening today around Cleveland, including with the leadership of the Cavaliers. They were talking about social justice and positive change with the City Club of Cleveland. Cavs head coach J.B. Bickerstaff talked about how meaningful it was to see Black Lives Matter messaging on the courts when the NBA came back last night, especially in a league where 85% of the players are black. Cavs general manager Kobe Altman brought up the unique opportunity players have to open up dialogue about racial justice issues and use their stage to spread important messages, bringing up Colin Kaepernick and his kneeling protest. And here's a big one. Kevin Clayton, VP of Diversity, Inclusion, and Community Engagement, said they're trying to get Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse approved as a polling location. Lots of open space in there that's important to think about when it comes to COVID-19 and voting. Now, things just got a little bit easier to get into the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo. As of tomorrow, August 1st, you no longer need a reservation to get in with general admission. The zoo said they're doing fine with staying below 75% capacity, so no appointment needed, but you do need a reservation for the Asian Lantern Festival. That's there through August 31st. And you all have been sending us such great photos through the Near Me feature on the WKYC app. We've got some to get you started off relaxation here on your Friday for your weekend. How about some sunsets? Look at this beautiful sunset over Port Clinton. You see the pink skies reflecting on the water there. That's from Scott Little. And here's a sunset over Lake Erie shared by Terry Markle. Now we've got something for the early risers too. Look at this fiery sunrise in Avon shared by Steve Sefcik. And another gorgeous start to the day there with pink and purple skies by Bert Ambrose. Now, I have to tell you, I particularly appreciate these sunrise photos because I'm not a morning person. I do not get early enough to see sunrise. Mike, what about you? Are you getting up early to catch sunrise?
No, sometimes I catch it from the other side, though. But keep those pictures coming. They are beautiful. Thank you, Stephanie. Appreciate it. Jay?
Still to come on What's New, you've been weighing in on the Ohio high school sports dilemma to play or not to play. We'll hear some of your thoughts coming up. And a lot of us are getting into gardening as a new hobby this summer. Our Green Thumb shows us how to take care of those troubled spots in the garden. Stay with us.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Half true. I'm in WKYC Studios. My friend Mike Polk is at Chateau Polk, aptly named. Mike, and by the way, thanks for joining us for the second half hour of What's New. I don't know about you, Mike. I'm never one to wish time away. I'm really not. But I am completely okay with the idea of waking up tomorrow and just, we're in 2021. 2020 is in the past. In vision terms, you know this, 2020 means perfect. Nothing to me seems perfect about 2020.
No, you're right. It is a pretty ironically named year. But it's just a relative state of mind, Jay. We can be in 2021. It's just a time thing. We can just wish that it's not that right now. Put yourself in 2021 in your mind, Jay. That's my invitation to you.
Okay.
Pretend you're already there.
Well, the thing is, though, in 2021, we'll likely have a vaccine. So things will be getting better.
Yes.
So maybe I just should wish for a vaccine tomorrow and everything would be okay. Can I do that?
Let's just... Yeah. Hey, Jay, have as many wishes as you want.
As long as you're granting them, I'll take them. All right. Mike, thank you. We'll see you in just a bit. On to our top talker. And we begin this half hour at 5:30 with this Ohio High School Athletic Association story. It is a tangled web, believe me. Whether or not to start fall sports seasons, that's the big question for high school athletes. We have less clarity on what things will actually look like now than we did a week ago, and things are just around the corner. Things are starting in days. The OHSAA made an announcement today that is stirring up a lot of emotions and controversy. Before we get into that announcement, we want to know if you think all sports should just be postponed, put on the back burner until there is a vaccine for COVID-19. You've been weighing in throughout the show, and right now, 3 out of 4 of you say, yeah, put sports on pause until we have that vaccine. So here's what happened today. The Ohio High School Athletic Association, for their part, gave the green light for all practices for fall sports, including football, to begin tomorrow. But that's not where this story ends. There is a catch. For high-contact sports like football, soccer, and field hockey, the OHSAA is saying they'll only start on time if the governor's office and the Ohio Office of Department of Health will remove that stipulation for weekly COVID testing for all participants. As you know, that can be expensive, and many schools have already said they just don't have the means to do that. But the governor has been adamant for his part, saying that has to be included for sports to go on. So now we wait yet again as the attention shifts back to the governor's office to make the final call. This has a lot of parents and even school districts talking tonight. Our digital anchor, Stephanie Haney, has the scoop on what everyone is saying about this online. Hello, Stephanie.
Hello, Jay. There are a lot of mixed emotions about this one. Some people are very excited about this blessing from OSHA for fall sports, but that is definitely not everyone. Cheryl Richardson Downs thinks this needs to be more specific. She says she thinks it's fine for her daughter to play tennis, for example, but does not feel that way for volleyball and football, which there is a lot more contact there. Now, if you ask Anne Marie, she says none of this makes sense when schools in the same conferences don't have the same plans for online versus in-person learning, pointing out that in-person classrooms will bring about even more COVID-19 exposure to the players because the more people you see, the more chances of passing the virus. And in Garfield Heights, where as of today, all extracurriculars, including sports, have been suspended until further notice, the account that appears to be run by the football team says OSHA is just fumbling the ball with this message about approving sports, adding confusion to an already chaotic situation. There's a lot of frustration out there, Jay. What you're seeing is people want consistency, but they also want it their way. And unfortunately for these schools, a blessing from OSHA with a yes is not the final say on this matter.
No, it's not. And I think what most people are looking for is just a definitive yes or no, so they can know where they stand and then move forward. It's been maddening, and I'm not sure there's going to be any clarity coming soon. Stephanie, thank you so much for that. All right, now it's people have been weighing in throughout the show. About 3 out of 4 are saying that, you know, they should put this thing on pause until we just know a little bit more. I got a text a short while ago. A woman tells me that her granddaughter is devastated to maybe lose her soccer scholarship. That's something that we really have to talk about, because so many of these kids are hopeful of receiving a college scholarship, and in some cases, that offer comes during their senior season, particularly for those that are sort of late bloomers and really come into their own and are having great senior years. How many seniors in high school sports will not get that opportunity for a free college education if sports do not happen this fall? All something to take into consideration. Thank you, by the way, if you voted on our poll. It is a few minutes past the bottom of the hour right now. That means we need a headline check, and for that, we turn to who else but our man, Russ Mitchell. Russ, hello.
Hey, Jay, hello to you. A portion of State Route 82 in Mentor is now dedicated as the Patrolman Matthew Mizzani Memorial Highway. The Mentor Police Department held a special ceremony today. Officer Mizzani was killed by an impaired driver back in June of 2018. Today, a federal appeals court overturned the death sentence of the Dzhokhar Tezmarov in the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing. Tezmarov's lawyers had argued that intense media coverage had made it impossible to have a fair trial in Boston. The 2013 attack killed 3 and injured more than 260. And American consumers increased their spending in June by 5.6%. But economists fear the resurgence of coronavirus in much of the country could slow further gains. But at least some good news on that front today. Jay, we'll see you at 6 o'clock.
All right, Russ, thank you so much. We'll see you at What Matters Most. Well, today is Mutt Day, Mike. Tell us about that.
Well, it is Mutt Day, Jay. You're right. I didn't get you anything, but we did ask you to show us your mutts. Sounds dirty, but it's not. Let's take a look at some dogs. This is Bentley. There he is. We also have Charles Mack. His owner, Angie, says she adopted him 1 year ago. He's a 3-year-old English bulldog and fits right in with his human sisters. And then, of course, we have Kobe. What a cutie Kobe is. Look at Kobe. That's
love it.
Good-looking dog.
Absolutely love it. Look,
Yeah.
I'm a fan of all dogs. I agree. And you know what? Sometimes, Mike, you can throw those purebred papers right out the window. Oftentimes, mutts make the best dogs. They're just such great pets, and they appreciate every ounce of love they get.
And dogs, honestly, we should throw them a parade when this is all over for all of the stress we're putting on these dogs and how dependent we've become upon them for our happiness. Dogs are very comforting to people right now, and pets in general. So, and you know, keep those mutt pictures coming, folks. That's all I'm saying.
I'm down with the mutt parade. I just don't want to walk behind them to clean it all up. Somebody else can figure that out, but I'm down with the dog parade.
We'll have the interns do that.
All right, speaking of dogs, the Clear the Shelters campaign begins tomorrow. If you're unfamiliar with that, NBC and Telemundo stations have teamed up to get pets adopted across the nation. Since starting this initiative 6 years ago, more than 410,000 pets have been adopted. But instead of 1 day of adoption deals, the campaign this year will run throughout the entire month of August. So if you've been looking to get that pet, never been a better time. Many shelters, though, still aren't doing in-person adoption, so do yourself a favor. You'll need to schedule a virtual appointment or make that special time to meet. We have all the shelters that are participating up on our website, WKYC.com. Something about seeing pictures of dogs just makes me smile. Well, we have a new video of True Thompson that almost all parents can relate to. Plus, the Ellen DeGeneres show is making changes to its staff after an investigation of a toxic workplace. We have all the new details. It's straight ahead next in Pup Break.
And speaking of Stormy, never mind. I'm not going to do anything like that. Anyways, Matt, what's going on with the weather outside? You going to tell us?
Hi there, Mike. We talked about the fact we're going to have some rain this weekend. Some of that is going to be on the heavy side, but it's going to be much needed. But beyond that, we have some fall-like air next week. Wait till you see the numbers. I'll share them with you coming up.
Changes, folks, are being made at the Ellen DeGeneres show after an investigation into a toxic workplace report surfaced. Plus, Beyonce's Black King is out, and I have all the details in today's Pop Break. Ellen DeGeneres is now apologizing to her staff following reports of a toxic work environment during production of her daytime talk show. Warner Media conducted an internal investigation and found that while not all of the allegations were corroborated, they did find some deficiencies related to the show's day-to-day management. Several staff changes are being made. A source told NBC News that Ellen herself is not part of the review, but her note to staff stated, quote, "My name is on the show and everything we do, and I take responsibility for that."
To be one and the same, and still unlike any other.
Queen Bey is teaming up with Disney+. Beyonce's latest visual album drops today on the streaming service. Black is King is a feature film composed of music videos for songs from The Gift, an album Beyonce executive produced as a companion to the 2019 live-action remake of The Lion King. It promises to be a bold visual celebration of Black culture through the ages.
You look beautiful.
And the cutest video on a Friday. That's Cavs star Tristan Thompson's daughter, True. And she obviously got into some of mom Khloe Kardashian's makeup. Kardashian posted this video on her Instagram page. That's your Pop Break. Consider yourself pop broken.
Cute.
If my sisters had gotten into my mom's makeup, she would not have been delighting in it and taking pictures, I can assure you, just so you know.
Yeah, well, different times. You know what I'm saying? Different times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
Plus, they're millionaires, that too.
Yeah, so go ahead. Do whatever you want. Get it all over the white carpet. We'll just buy new carpet.
Yeah, throw it all over the place. Who cares?
Yeah,
I'll buy more.
Matt, I wonder if your little ones have ever gotten into mom's makeup. It happened with my young Kirsten when she was about 2. She had lipstick and makeup all over her face.
Yeah, you know, Emmy did, actually. I think it was Mama's lipstick. I took a picture of it. It's on my Instagram from like 2 years ago. I remember it was really, really messy, but that was about it. You know, there's not usually, my wife works from home, so I think the makeup bag is, you know, hidden somewhere, let's be honest.
Smart.
But I'm sure there are days to come. I'm sure there are days to come. Jay and Mike, it is a real life, you remember in Snow White, all the animals gathered around her? I feel like that outside. There was literally a chipmunk poking his head out here. We've got birds going crazy over here feeding each other. I don't know what they're doing. A squirrel, and I saw a mouse in the birdseed earlier. So it's this is just wonderful. I mean, bring all the animals over here. It'll be great. But anyway, what an evening to be outside, guys. It is just picture perfect. We've got the breeze coming in out of the north, and that will continue. It's such a difference based on wind direction this time of year. And that northerly breeze brings in the drier air and shuts off the Gulf of Mexico, and we have that very temporarily. So tonight, if you're heading on out, no weather problems whatsoever. We've had a couple periods of darker clouds along a lake breeze that was setting up earlier, but that has since faded. You can see the dry air working in all the way down to the southern end of Ohio, but things are going to start to change quickly. We've got an area low pressure out in Missouri. We've been highlighting this for a couple days. This is going to bring a slug of moisture our way. We'll see showers, even some thunderstorms as early as midday and early afternoon tomorrow, and that will continue as this thing takes its time heading through into your Sunday. You can see some of the watches and warnings they have. Not widespread severe weather. We may get some stronger storms in our southern communities, but we could see some localized flooding, and it would be very brief. They're seeing a lot more down in Kentucky and Missouri because they've had rain over the last couple days, but some of these rainfall rates could be impressive. Let's take a look and time out your weekend hour by hour with the National Design Mart forecast. We're dry tonight. Tomorrow morning waking up will be dry. If you got errands to run or outdoor plans, heading out for a walk or jog, you'll be okay if you do it in the morning. Temperatures pretty comfortable in the 60s, but you can see as we head through midday and early afternoon, we bring in some scattered showers, even some thunderstorms, and this is also going to bring in a dose of humidity as well. I think our dew points will shoot up into the 70s. It's going to be pretty thick out there by tomorrow evening, and that thick air will continue to produce showers and heavier downpours with some embedded thunderstorms through Saturday evening. It's not going to be constant. They'll be on and off, but they'll still be around. As we go into Saturday night, we lose a little bit of that daytime heating, so I think the coverage will go away a little bit. We'll still deal with some showers, but then Sunday on the backside of that low, more heavy downpours across the area with some intermittent sunshine in between as we go throughout the day. In terms of that summer rainfall, look at the number at the bottom. Cleveland is lucky, and the reason why is we got some heavier downpours right over that precipitation gauge. Otherwise, we'd be in a deficit, but we're running 3, 4, even some 5-inch below average for the summer in terms of rainfall. So how much are we projecting? Well, on a local scale, don't look at the exact numbers, just look at the trend. We could be anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of rain falling over the weekend. That goes all the way through Sunday. After this, we have fall-like air arriving Tuesday night and Wednesday. Look at the muggy meter. We're finally back into the comfortable category to end next week. So that's the light at the end of the tunnel. Your Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast, 80 tomorrow with those scattered storms developing. Sunday, more rain. Monday, we may have an isolated downpour, but Tuesday's when that front comes in, more rain projected out of that, and that clears us out as we go into next week. So, Jay, I'll keep you posted on any animal sightings around here. I haven't seen any deer or fawns yet, but I'll let you know. If I'm not here for 6, it's because one of them got me.
Well, take pictures and post them to Instagram, please. Will you do that for me?
Will do, for sure.
All right, Matt, have a great weekend. Thank you very much. More people are planting gardens due to COVID-19. But if you have some browning leaves or other trouble spots, we have some tips from our expert on how to fix those spots.
And do you like to look at cute bear cubs? If so, stick around. If not, what kind of a monster are you? Home gardening is a new trend this year because of the pandemic, and many families are using it just as a fun activity, and others are using it to ease their food concerns.
Just like your garden, gardens come with trouble spots. We all have them. So we decided to reach out to Noelle Aiken. She's our good friend from Petites, and she's going to help us to keep those gardens blooming.
if you've been out there doing your victory gardens, getting out there and just being active outside in the garden, all of these plants are doing pretty well, doing what they should be doing, but there's a couple of problematic areas. So we're going to show you what those look like and kind of talk about the solutions in order to correct those problems. Right down here, if you look at some of the browning, yellowing leaves on the bottom of cucumbers, squash, this happens quite a bit, especially on the lower leaves. This is something that we call like a leaf spot. Lots of times what happens is the lower parts of the plant, they get a lot of splashing from rainfall, from irrigation. What happens is there's fungal spores in the soil. They kind of bounce back up onto the leaves. And the next thing you know, you get some brown spots, white spots, and things. So lots of times removing those lower leaves is really good. So anything that's really, really brown, I just go back to the main stem and I go ahead and pinch it off if I can get there. And that's really where you want to go. Clean up that bottom so you have good air circulation. Now over here, if we walk over and we look at the tomatoes real quickly here, we get tons of questions about tomatoes. And this tomato down here, this is blossom end rot, the beginning of it, but what happened is it started and continued to grow. So there's a little bit of seaming on this tomato, and that's perfectly fine. That tomato is still very, very good to eat. But blossom end rot comes on peppers, on eggplants, on tomatoes, where you have a lack of calcium in the soil. So we tend to use garden lime and bone meal and tomato tone, any calcium-rich food that we can get around those tomato plants or peppers early season when we plant them. And again, we can apply more of that calcium-rich food around the base of the tomato. But it also helps to water evenly. So when you have dry periods and wet periods, you want to make sure you're supplying even moisture. Lower leaves on tomatoes too, always good to remove those. Again, when you see the brown spots, that leaf spot, no problem, you can clip these and just continue to remove, get a little bit more air circulation through the tomatoes here. And then of course, here's our garden lime. So we do have lime that you can use in a vegetable garden, no problem whatsoever. It's going to sweeten the soil, make the soil a little bit more basic, but this has added calcium in it, which is great to reduce that blossom end rot. And then over here, we've got a couple of multi-purpose products, tomato and vegetable spray. This is a great bug and disease control here. So this is a nice one. It has pyrethrins for the insects and then sulfur for the disease. And Captain Jack's is just for any bugs that you see around the garden, and they'll work for you really well.
All right, Noelle, great job. She knows her stuff. Straight ahead, we wrap it up with our Worth the Watch. You're going to love these two bear cubs. Or as Mike says, you're probably a monster. We wrap up another week of What's New with our Worth the Watch. This is good, too. 2 brown bear cubs were spotted playing in the water in eastern Russia. Take a look at this video. Just the right place at the right time, I guess. A local resident walking along the beach on an island in eastern Russia just happened to cross the 2 cubs frolicking in the water as he continued to fearlessly film them. Look at this guy, Mike. That's a dangerous move. But he got some great video.
There's definitely, that is a brave Russian, because there's a mama bear somewhere around watching those cubs. I think we can agree. And I hope that guy was heard from after this.
Yeah, I hope so too, because you're right. Mama wasn't far from her babies. Thank you so much for watching What's New. I hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you again Monday at 5. What Matters Most with Russ and Laura starts right now.
High school sports. The OHSAA issues a statement that the fall seasons will go on as planned, but with a catch. Play ball or not? How the trickle-down effect from MLB pandemic postponements could hurt a so far promising season for the Tribe. Liquor law change.
It feels like we've skipped over compliance and enforcement and just gone to the next step.
Last call for alcohol tonight at 10. Local business owners react. The great debate.
I think as a parent, as a teacher, I should decide what I do with my children. Okay, so my own biological children.
How health departments make recommendations and the huge decisions parents must make for their children's schooling this fall.